So many creators have this ego of like, oh, I have so-and-so Instagram followers. I'm like, I'm awesome. I'm the king. And I'm like, okay, cool. When are Instagram followers going to pay your bills, bro?
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Dave Drakes with The Collective Experience, and we are back for another TCE interview. And this time, I got something for all of you content creators, videographers, photographers out there. I got Billy Freeman with Surge Unlimited on. If you guys don't know about Billy Freeman, you're going to learn about him right now. This dude has done some amazing things in the industry, from working with people like KTM, Red Bull, and even Baker's Factory, to doing some pretty crazy stuff with music videos. Billy Freeman, what's up, dude? How you doing, dude?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. I see you got the old rig in the background, dude. It's looking good.
If I'm gonna throw out a disclaimer right now. If this gets glitchy, I apologize. I apologize for the makeshift little setup thing out on location, but we'll always make time for Dave Drakes at TCE.
I appreciate the love, man. I feel warm inside. I appreciate that. Dude's always working. Yeah, I'm super excited to do this, man. We've been talking about doing this for a long while as a long-time supporter of the program. Yeah, I wanted to tell your story and be able to shed some light into the world of content creation, especially when it comes to moto side. Because there's so many people out there who are looking for advice, or who want to see other videographers or photographers, or content creators in all forms. They want to see people who have really gone far in the industry and started from really humble beginnings, because it almost looks like a fairy tale for a lot of people out there, where like you wake up one day and you got a red camera and you've got $1 million budget, and it's not always the case. So I'm really pumped to get your 2 cents, tell your story, and flush it out. So yeah, let's one thing that I'm pretty pumped on, if you can't tell already, is how like the whole moto scene has kind of crafted itself into like this ultra humongous content creation hub. But I want to start in the older days, the way back when you were a kid in the 1800s.
Here we go.
Yeah, Billy's not even a year older than me, but I always make him feel like he's like ancient. Tell me how you got your start in videography and in the sport to begin with, because you started out as a racer.
Yeah. I used to race the Netra series as a woods guy. I don't know what year it was, forever ago, a little later than the 1800s. But so yeah, and I raced the C class then, and eventually I got kind of bored of just like running around the woods, for 3 hours afterwards, watching the pros ride. You'd see them once every half hour or so. So I brought a camera out there, just started playing, wound up starting to make some edits for that series, and things just kept snowballing, and I kept it fun, and that's what kept it progressing.
See, that's sick. I like the humble beginnings. What kind of camera did you have to start out with? Because I'm assuming it wasn't just like a super big like Avengers type camera, right?
No, it was a Sony Handycam, like you would see at like Best Buy or Walmart, or just your like standard family video camera.
Just using that thing running between races. I do remember we went to a couple Netra races. That's back in New England. Good old New England. Yeah, with the Handycam. I do remember a lot of that stuff. So like, did you originally have a plan that you wanted to be a content creator when you were younger? Like, was that part of your the thought process when you were, or was it literally just I'm bored and I want to have fun with it?
Looking back, like I always thought it was cool, but I never knew really how to get involved. Our school didn't really have a curriculum for, especially back in, when I was in middle school, whatever. They didn't really have any classes on video production, content creation, none of that. So it always seemed like super mysterious to me. Yeah. And then luckily, like the whole YouTube phase came around, and we started learning anything you want on YouTube, which was sick, and started just making edits and learn one thing one weekend, next weekend learn another thing, next weekend try something new, and things just kept progressing that way.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. It's funny how you get the ball rolling and you know, and things kind of start to happen the harder you work. What was one of the first gigs you got in moto to like be like a regular content creator?
So Netra, I would just show up for fun.
Hmm.
Like it was just fun. And then I met someone at Trail Rider magazine, like local New England magazine.
Hmm.
And he wanted to have me out do some stuff with them. So that was cool.
Nice.
Um, and then the J Day series was born. So shout
Yep.
out to J Day for literally changing the game on so many levels, but
Yeah.
especially as far as media goes, you know, it's perfect for media. The
Yeah.
GP format is just so perfect. These guys
Yeah.
are sending it like no tomorrow in the 30-minute format
Yeah.
with these tracks that are like just gnarly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yep.
that they have a little bit of everything. So it was perfect, you know?
Yeah, I love the J-Day series again because you know it's a homegrown New England series started from the ground up as you know just a grassroots way for people to get riding right. But I
Mhm.
love that it's a best of moto and the best of woods, and we've got so many moto guys that come and do it that end up liking it just as much as moto, if not more. And you know you're looking, you're like, damn, I thought that guy raced professional motocross. It's like, no, he does, but J-Day is just that sick that he wants to try J-Day. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think it's phenomenal what John's been able to curate, and the numbers that they get is astronomical, dude.
Mhm.
It kind of brought back like that feeling of moto in New England from like 2002, 2003, you know, and so on.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be fun to keep, watching the series and see where it grows to.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, and you were again a big part of the content creation team and expanding in I guess really showcasing how cool New England Moto can be. What's one of the first projects that you worked on where you were like, holy crap, dude, like this is awesome. This feels like winning a race. I feel like I've leveled up a little bit and I'm filming this really cool thing that I really didn't think I would ever get a chance to.
Um, the first time that happened had to have been Baker's Factory. Like you see everybody on TV.
Hmm.
It's like there's not a ton of supercross or moto venues in New England.
Yeah.
So like even when they come to town, you're like, oh man, they're in town. Like this is sick.
Yeah.
So, going down there and kind of seeing how things go behind the scenes, them training in person,
Mhm.
being, 10 feet away while they're doing like an upside down whip, you're like, wow, that's ridiculous. Like, a
Yeah.
whole different aura when you see it in person rather than on TV. So
Mhm.
that was just a really cool part of seeing all they go through behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Just being a fly on the wall down there.
That's sick. So what's it like being down there in terms of like just like the feel and the atmosphere? Is it like super all business, train, or like do people have a chance to like their personalities show a little bit like Aldon and Zacho, or is it a little bit more chill than we think it is?
I think so. And I think it's very individual on the rider.
Hmm.
Maybe it's what they're going through that day. Like there were some dudes where I was just talking to them, like, example, Zach Osbourne actually loves the J Day series. And so we were talking about J Day with him. And he was like, yeah, man, like maybe I'll go do it like soon. I'm like, you're actually the points leader right now. I don't know if you're allowed to do that. So
Yeah, slow down, dude.
yeah, but he just wants to ride. He just has fun.
That's
Um,
sick.
yeah, and some of the other guys that were there, they were, I think there's some guys were waiting on parts. Other guys had doctor's appointments. They were like a little more grumpy that day. So, to each their own. Everyone's going through their own stuff, and you just have to see. I mean, they're in a very high pressure environment. So,
Yeah. That's sick, man. The fact that you got to go to Baker's Factory, like that's hallowed ground for a lot of us, man. That's like you have to be the top of the top to be able to even in any field to be able to get to that point. So the fact that you had the chance to do that and really, especially from where you came from with the grassroots, the handy cam, and now you're filming Baker's Factory and stuff like that, that's pretty freaking phenomenal. I think a lot of people would, sell their grandma and give their right arm for a chance to be able to film with Aldon Baker and all of these guys. Dude, that's super sick. So yeah, the one thing that I like about your story in particular is that every step of the way I think you took a lot of time to really learn your craft and really take a lot of it in, and you never got like the I guess the it was never lost on you. This the grandiose nature of all the stuff that you were doing. It makes it feel like you were very grateful and you took the time to learn. And one skill that you have that I don't think even you realize is you really you do very well with partnering up with people and being very mutually beneficial in all of your whether it's a business transaction or your projects or collaborations. And I think that's what kind of springboarded you, I guess, so successfully. I wouldn't say quickly, because it's a lot of work. It might seem quickly, but to a lot of people, but it takes a lot of time to get there, and you really I guess took each step the right way and utilize your talents. I hope you would agree with that and not just say like, oh yeah, it happened. Just it fell together. It was all luck.
No, I appreciate it, man. It is a lot of hard work, and you had a lot to do with it too. You introduced me to AJ early on when I was trying to build a reel.
Yeah, I forgot about that. You did work with AJ early on a lot. This is before AJ had like his whole YouTube or his Instagram game. This is like early days.
This was before vlogging was like a thing.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Yeah. I forget all about that.
Yeah. I mean, that was the connect that you made. That was, you've been doing stuff before TCE was TCE.
Yeah. Which is why I like these conversations. Cause like, again, we forget about like where it all stemmed from. And like, you were a videographer before, the whole big vlog push or the big content push. And yeah, and I was a plug before plugs were plugs, so so I guess it all comes full circle, I guess. So yeah, so walk me through a little bit of how you kind of transition from the moto side into getting into more mainstream media content, because if people don't know, dude, you do stuff for high profile music artists, for Fortune 500 companies, you do stuff for just anything. You're kind of a jack of all trades in that manner when it comes to content creation. How did you transition away from moto, and kind of what sparked that interest outside of motocross?
Well, I don't think I ever, at the time when I was just filming moto, I don't think I ever thought like, oh, I could do this full time, or I could have a company or anything like that. I was just so immersed in the sport and having fun and staying busy.
Yeah.
So really, I was working on a moto project and I was trying to license some music, and I went to some local producers. Turns out those local producers were starting a tour, and they wanted to see my work before they licensed anything to me. So they saw my work and they were like, you'd be a great fit to come on the tour with us. And, we have A, B, and C going on the tour. We're going to pitch to some networks, a pilot program. And so I kind of had a tough decision to make. I was like, do I stay working in moto full time, or do I leave and, chase this dream of doing content creation full time? And I went for it.
Yeah.
So it's been a roller coaster ever since, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
Oh, definitely not, man. To see how far you've come. So to back it up a little bit, I don't know how much you can tell us, because all of your products are just mired in NDAs. But like, walk us through like what that tour was like, because that sounds like it's one of your first like springboarded steps outside of moto. Like, what was that like, doing that and traveling with that whole project?
So the premise was they took like 16 unsigned female artists, and the company wanted to cut out all the BS of all the things that female artists have to go through to try to get to the top, to try to get a record deal, to try to get signed, whatever. So basically they took these 16 girls and they put them through a boot camp, basically trying to figure out, they were trying to teach these girls like the grind of the industry. Like, they would have a choreography boot camp, they'd have a singing boot camp, they'd meet with record executives, all sorts of stuff. And then just being on tour bus nonstop, going up and down the East Coast, getting used to life on the road is a whole adjustment in itself. So that whole thing was wild, man. Like, it was a new experience for me, for sure. And
I bet, dude, 16 just like super talented female vocalists. Yeah, I bet it's a new experience for you. That's awesome, dude. That's every dude's dream right there.
Yeah. And the whole rush of just the creation and the collaboration and everything. I fell in love with just the entertainment industry as a whole. And I was like, I feel like this is home. This is where I got to keep pushing.
That's awesome. What was one of the biggest things that I guess that you learned from that experience? When you first got involved?
That collaboration is key. You cannot do everything yourself in this industry. That's just how it is. It takes a lot of manpower. It takes a lot of money, and it takes a lot of time to to create good content.
That's awesome. That's I think that can be used in many other industries as well. Collaboration, and the right collaboration. I will say that not every collaboration is a worthwhile one, as you and I know, but definitely the good ones are the good ones.
You're right. Lots of sharks too.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of sharks in the water. So I think it's super cool that you took that opportunity and utilized that to get yourself a little bit forward, towards your goal of doing some other cool stuff. What's it like when you're on a set for like a high profile music artist, and compare that to like a high profile moto person? Is it the same, shooting like a high profile music video versus like a baker's factory deal, or is it just completely two different worlds?
So when I went to Baker's Factory, that would be two different worlds, because I was a fly on the wall. It's kind of like docu-style.
Yeah.
It was just a one-day thing, single camera. I was using like an FS 700. I don't even think I had the red yet. Just an old FS 700.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest difference is probably the amount of planning, the amount of resources, and the amount of crew that it would take to pull something off.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, if any one of those factory guys needed a commercial, or they got brought on for a commercial for one of their sponsors or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
then the two worlds would be aligned much closer, because there would be more of a structured format to the whole thing rather than having it be docu-style.
Yeah, gotcha. That makes total sense. To me, I'd have a heart attack if like a high profile artist walked by and I have to I'm directing all of the videography and editing. Dude, I couldn't do it. And that's one cool thing that I also really admire about you, is that you're not only a whiz behind the camera, but you also edit and you plan like 99% of the shoots, and you'll help with lighting and sound, all this other stuff, where a lot of other people only focus on their singular thing. You make it a point to make yourself into almost a whole production company in one person, which is why I think you're so successful at what you're doing. How do you like doing like the more corporate style shoots and working with like Fortune 500s? Is that a fun deal, or does that have its own sort of unique challenges?
Its own unique challenges, and that's exactly, you said it perfect. Like knowing how to do all these different aspects of production help, because
Mm-hmm.
not all productions are the same, right? So I would handle a corporate video a million times different than I'd handle a commercial, that I'd handle a music video. A lot of times it's budget dependent too. You have a low budget, you're not bringing 20, 30 people on. You're not, don't have the resources to do it. So it really depends. So the more knowledge is king. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. You just have to keep learning all you can and keep pushing, keep experimenting, and do whatever you can to keep everything moving,
Yeah.
But the corporate stuff is never the most fun stuff, but hey man, you got bills, you got to do it.
Yeah, and they know how to give you some cash. I will say that, dude. The corporate stuff is is pretty cool, and you actually make the corporate stuff pretty interesting. And for those of you out there who haven't been to Billy's website, check out Billy's website is Demo Reel. We'll link that stuff below in the description. Billy does some amazing stuff. And if you have a company out there and you're looking for some cool content creation, a really unique twist to showcase your business, hit up Billy at Surge Unlimited. He can get you squared away. And, not only does he really, really do great at customer service, I will say that from 100% experience, customer service is great. He really makes it feel like, it's advertising from your, your personal branding standpoint. So it's super, super cool. Bill, what is one thing, I don't think I ever asked you this, what is one, I guess, artist, I'll say that, one artist that you'd love to work with on a project, and who is one rider you'd love to work with on a project?
Hold on. What kind of artist? What are we? Like music?
Music, yeah. It could be anything. I know your Surge Unlimited is heavy into the music music video production scene. So we'll stay there. And then one rider who you'd love to work with.
The music one's tough, dude. I mean, there's so many on the roster that I would love to work with. So as long as the, here's what I'll say too. The budget, as long as they cover like expenses, cool. There's certain things that I will still show up for free, because what a lot of these content creators don't know is that a lot of just because you're not getting paid for one thing doesn't mean it's not ROI positive, right? So many creators have this ego of like, oh, I have so and so Instagram followers. I'm like, I'm awesome. I'm the king. And I'm like, okay, cool. When are Instagram followers going to pay your bills, bro? Like, you need to think bigger and like collaborate with people and do things that are actually going to get you closer to your goals while still providing as much value as you can to them too. That's why all these collaborations are so key, that you put your best foot forward and you always try to give more than you receive.
I agree with you 100%.
At all.
Yeah.
So
You see that in moto a lot. A lot of mechanics will even say that, like, hey, I had to wrench for a local pro for free for 2 years before this one satellite team saw me, and then before this one privateer support saw me, and then now I'm wrenching for a factory team or whatever. I love the fact that you said that there are situations where the ROI positive aspect of it outweighs any immediate monetary support that you can get in that instance. So I'm glad you said it first.
Let me cut you off and tell you, or you already know this, it's your program. But this is why I love your program so much. How many people do jobs in the industry? Like, it's amazing the amount of people that you help, and like you've literally changed the trajectory of their life is amazing. So big props to you, man.
Appreciate it.
I hope you sleep well, man.
No, dude, I don't get sleep at all, dude. I'm always working on something, but I appreciate it, man. We put a lot of effort into making sure I help as many people in the industry as possible. I mean, like you were there when the early moto days and stuff. It's so difficult to get a leg up in the industry, and if I could help just a handful of people shorten their time to get to the top, or connect them with the right people to get their career started and really make a difference, man, that's what we're here for. That's what the program's all about. So I know I appreciate you saying that, man. And hopefully we can help more people and, put some more Billy Freemans out in the world, the ones that have the talent and the foresight. And if you guys want the opportunity, like Billy mentioned, please hit the link below. We've got some really cool opportunities for interns to come out and work with some pro teams and really get your name, your talent, your creations out in front of the right eyes, and really make a name for yourself in the sport. And and hopefully springboard that into a career. And we're here to help every step of the way. Speaking of career, Billy, and upward trajectory, what's next for Surge Unlimited? Like, where do you want to take the business? What's your overall goal for Surge Unlimited?
You know what, man? It's been so long since I've shot anything in moto. I would love to start doing some more commercial style things in moto. Mm-hmm. I always love shooting moto, but if I'd be able to have complete control over, like, if I were to have the same resources that I have put behind like a music video that would be put behind something in moto, bro, it'd be a dream come true. Oh my God, no. Yeah. So if I could wiggle my way back into moto, with more of like a DP style, like commercial shoot, mm-hmm. rather than, a docu style type thing, that would be living the dream, right?
Yeah, that'd be sick. I could definitely see. I know the way you're moving. You're gonna, you already collaborate with so many people. I 100% know you're gonna be much bigger than you are. I know you're a media house, content creation house right now, but I can definitely see you scaling tenfold and making your full transition into music videos and stuff like that. And again, guys, if you haven't checked out his music videos, they are so freaking good. And it's crazy that it's mostly just Billy planning a lot of this stuff out. Things are a little bit different, like we keep saying, from when you and I were, first got our feet wet into the sport as racers and stuff like that. What do you think of the current like moto scene from a content standpoint? Because to me, I don't know if it's the same perspective that you have, but it looks like there's just so much out there in terms of content, so many outlets, and I think it's one of the best times in moto right now. What's your 2 cents on it?
Couldn't agree more. I mean, there's so many different styles too, but what matters the most is that, the whole sport is getting encapsulated in every different style of shooting, and it's just driving views through the roof. It's bringing, more people's interest, which is bringing eyes and sponsors and bodies and money. And because all this is an expensive sport, all these businesses need to stay afloat, right? So the more people that are involved, and the more people that hype up the sport to get more people involved, it's a win-win.
I have to agree with you, man. And especially like the last 3 or 4 years, I think, when like vlogging has been really big and, doing the IG bangers and even TikTok now, I think it opens up so many doors to get an influx of just new eyes, new people to the sport that said, oh, I saw this one guy do a really cool whip to some cool dope ass Drake song. And I want to do that one day. So I'm going to go to my local shop and buy a dirt bike. And I'm going to go to this local, moto area and ride and get the local FXR rep to get me some cool gear and all this cool stuff. And like there's just so many companies that can associate with or benefit from all this influx of new eyes. I think it can only help us, and I'm so amped that I look around in the pro pits and I see just everyone's got a vlogger, everyone's got a camera, and it's super cool to me. Love seeing that. I can only imagine what happens in the future. Can you imagine if we had this when like Stewart and Carmichael were racing, just like tons of in-depth content? If James Stewart had a full-time vlog dude and a full-time like photog, can you imagine how freaking cool would that be?
I feel like I feel like we'd still be on the computer rewatching everything.
Right? Yeah, we wouldn't have slept, dude. Come on, you know what I mean?
Right.
We had maybe at the most a cool ride video, not even an edit, just literally somebody had a crappy pixelated camera showing somebody riding a track maybe once every 3 weeks, and just like the yearly 2 or 3 moto videos,
Yeah. And if there were only 2 or 3 moto videos, you would find them.
Exactly. That's funny. That everyone now is like all the kids that are growing up now and get a chance to like see Jet Lawrence and Hunter Lawrence riding and Christian Craig and all these guys every day. I'm like, lucky freaking bastards, man. I wish I had that so I can watch like Rocco and Wyndham and Stu and Reed like training during the week. How cool would that be?
Yeah, we waited till the DVDs came out on that Cycle Gear rack.
Yeah. Billy and I used to work at Cycle Gear, and I don't know why they hired us together. That's just ridiculous. And we literally just rewatch the same moto videos on repeat, just like, man, that guy's fast. You know what I mean? Just over and over and over. So, yeah, we're no strangers to to wearing out moto videos. Oh, that's too funny. So yeah, Bill, it's very apparent. I'm a big fan, and I love to see just how grassroots you started and where you are now to working with some literal celebrities on music videos and traveling and doing all these cool projects. What advice would you give to anyone, whether they're in moto or outside of moto, that are new to videography, new to content creation, and want to get started?
Don't put the camera down. The more you can teach yourself, the more you can learn, the better. I didn't go to film school. I don't advocate film school. I think there's plenty of resources online to learn what you need to know. If anything else, try to go and add value to somebody that's, already doing stuff you want to do. Reach out to them. Don't feel like you're above internships. Don't feel like you're above working for free. Don't feel like you're above turning your face up at an opportunity because like it might be low budget or something. Like, always take everything that you take on, make sure you add as much value as you can to, and just keep pushing things forward and you'll go far.
I love that. Always, and continue to always learn. Always learn. I definitely, I dig that. Never put a camera down, except unless you're Billy Freeman. Put the camera down sometimes, because you wouldn't want to film all the stuff that you do. Anyway,
well, sometimes or it's weird and it's a whole thing.
Right. Oh man, no, this is fun, Bill. Again, I'm so glad we're able to tell the story of how you got started. Again, guys, please check out all the stuff that Billy's got going on, all the cool projects, his website, and go through Billy's IG and his YouTube channel. There's a lot of cool moto projects that he worked on previous that I think you guys would really like, and it's pretty enjoyable. Bill, this is super fun, dude. Guys, please check out the Collective Experience, the collectivexp.com. We're going to put the link below so you guys can get entered into our programs, kickstart your career, end up like Billy Freeman, get yourself in front of some movers and shakers of the industry. And while you're on the site, grab some TCE merch. I know I'm wearing the SGB Racing hoodie right now. It's a little cold outside, but we've got a recent drop of some really cool, super soft t-shirts, some hoodies. So make sure you cop one, support TCE as well as support the sport that we all love. Bill, I wish you all the luck in the world. We're definitely gonna have to catch up this summer and do some cool projects. And yeah, I'm excited to see where you end up and follow along, dude, because it's only going to get better from here for you.
I appreciate it, man. I can say the same for you. I see this program continuing to grow, and it's amazing to see all the people you're helping, man. I know people personally that you got hired at, Feld and others. So congratulations to you, man. People need to hype you up.
I appreciate it, dude. I appreciate it. Hopefully we'll get her flowers someday. All right, guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, if you appreciated this, if you liked it, if you got some value out of it, hit that subscribe button. Be sure to share. We appreciate all of the love and the community that we're building. You guys are awesome. And until next time, take care.